Good morning, students. Hope all of you are fine. Beta, in previous lecture we started chapter 15 and name of this chapter is Framing the Constitution. And beta, till now we have discussed the topic the making of the Constituent Assembly. And today's topic is the dominant voices. The Constituent Assembly, as you know, that some members were appointed to write down our constitution, and those members, assembly of those members, that was known as the Constituent Assembly. And the Constituent Assembly had 300 members, and of these members, 6 members played particularly important roles. There were represented, as we know, in Constituent Assembly 82% of the members, they were from Congress, and 3 were representative. Those played very important role. Those were Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel and Rajendra Prasad. It was Nehru who moved the crucial objective resolution as well as the resolution proposing that the national flag of India be a horizontal tricolor of saffron, white and dark green in equal proportion. It means the idea of tricolor flag. It was given by Jawaharlal Nehru, and this objective resolution, it was also given by Jawaharlal Nehru, that what resolution should be included in the constitution. And Vallabhbhai Patel, on the other hand, worked mostly behind the scene. He played a key role in the drafting of several reports and working to reconcile opposing points of view. As you know, beta, there are diverse views whenever any like constitution was formation was going on. So on every close, long hours of debates were held. So Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he played the background role, key role, and he working to reconcile, means how to reconcile, how to create consensus on a point. This work was done by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Rajendra Prasad role was as president of the assembly, where he had to steer the discussion along constructive lines while making sure all members had a chance to speak. So this way, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, being a president of that Constituent Assembly, he had to organize all the debates so that all the members, they should had a chance to speak in the assembly. Beside this Congress trio, ये Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel and Rajendra Prasad. Beside that, a very important member of the assembly was the lawyer and economist B.R. Ambedkar. During the period of British rule, Ambedkar had been a political opponent of the Congress. But on the advice of Mahatma Gandhi, he was asked at independence to join the Union Cabinet as law minister. In this capacity, he served as chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution, and serving with him were 2 other lawyers. Like first trio was of Congress, and this other trio, first member was B.R. Ambedkar, and the other 2 members were the lawyers K.M. Munshi from Gujarat and Aladi Krishna Swami Iyer from Madras, both of whom gave crucial inputs in the drafting of the constitution. As you know, just because of incredible contribution of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he is known as the father of Indian constitution. So these 6 members, they were given vital assistance by 2 civil servants. One was B.N. Rao, constitutional advisor to the government of India, who prepared a series of background papers based on a close study of the political system obtaining in other country. As you know, in our country, so many features, those are adopted from various countries. So this work was done by this constitutional advisor B.N. Rao. And the other was the chief draughtsman S.N. Mukherjee, who had the ability to put complex proposals in clear legal language so that it should be understandable for all, and it should be communicated in a proper way to all. Ambedkar himself had the responsibility of guiding the draft constitution through the assembly. This took almost 3 years, with the printed record of the discussion taking up 11 bulky volumes. As I told you in the live session also, beta, whatever discussions, whatever debates were held, each and every word was preserved, each and every word was written, compiled in the 11 bulky volumes. That why any clause is added in our constitution. But while the process was long, it was also extremely interesting. The members of the Constituent Assembly were eloquent in expressing their sometimes very divergent points of view. अब बेटा divergent को convergent में change करना, that was done by these 6 members. In their presentation, we can discern many conflicting ideas of India, like of what language Indians should speak. Like you in India, there are so many languages as well as the dialects. Or of what political and economic system the nation should follow, of what moral values its citizens should uphold, or this. So all these were the different diverse ideas. Now, what was the vision of the constitution? The next topic is the vision of the constitution. On 13 December 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru introduced the objective resolution in the Constituent Assembly. Now, what do we mean by this objective resolution? It was a momentous resolution that outlined the defining ideals of the Constitution of Independent India. It means in which the basic outline was mentioned, that which all agenda, which all topics will be added in the Indian Constitution, and they provided the framework within which the work of constitution making was to proceed. It proclaimed India to be an independent sovereign republic. Beta, independent meaning sovereign means when we are free from any kind of external interfere or rule, that is known as sovereign. And republic means when the head of the country is elected by the people through election, it will not be a hereditary head. So this way, India to be an independent sovereign republic, this was written in our in that objective resolution. And even it guaranteed its citizens justice, equality, freedom, and assured that adequate safeguards shall be provided for minorities, backward and tribal areas, and depressed and other backward classes. After outlining these objectives, now see beta, as you know, in our constitution, various type of reservation, various type of benefits are given to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, with that the religious minority. So all these are benefits, these are given to them through our constitution. So after outlining these objectives, Nehru placed the Indian experiment in a broad historical perspective. As he spoke, he said his mind went back to the historic efforts in the past to produce such documents of rights. As you know, beta, in our constitution, fundamental rights are added. Then directive principle of state policy are there. With that, there are fundamental duties also. 13 fundamental duties are there. So beta, you can see this page. This is source 1, and this is the famous speech of Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, if we will read this speech, beta, Nehru's speech merits careful scrutiny. What exactly was being stated here? What did Nehru nostalgic return to the past reflect? So beta, here in returning to the past and referring to the American and French Revolution, Nehru was locating the history of constitution making in India within a longer history of struggle for liberty and freedom. It means the thing was given, like in other countries also, they also fought for a very long time for the equality and liberty. And the momentous nature of the Indian project was emphasized by linking it to the revolutionary movement in the past. Like at present we are independent, but all that is just because of the efforts done in past. But Nehru was not suggesting that those events were to provide any blueprint for the present, or that the ideas of those revolutions could be mechanically borrowed and applied in India. And even he did not define the specific form of democracy and suggested that this had to be decided through deliberation. As we know, so many debates were held. And he stressed that the ideas and provision of the constitution introduced in India could not be just derived from elsewhere. We are not just going to copy, like so many features are taken from other constitution. So this is not to copy them. The system of government established in India, he declared, had to be fit with the temper of our people. Means whatever features those are fit according to our public, only those features should be added, and it should be acceptable in India. So it was necessary to learn from the people of the West, from their achievements and failures, but the Western nations too had to learn from experiment elsewhere. Now, the objective of the Indian Constitution would be to fuse the liberal ideas of democracy with the socialist idea of economic justice and re-adopt and rework all these ideas with the Indian context. As you know, beta, in Russia, from Russia, the idea of socialism was there. Then right to equality, right to freedom, it was the legacy of the French Revolution. But all these ideas should be readopted, reworked according to the Indian context. Nehru's plea was for creative thinking about what was appropriate for India. It doesn't mean that whatever is done by the other countries, whatever is written in the constitution of other countries, we will adopt it as it is. We can adopt, but it should be according to the citizen of India, that it should fit the public of India. So beta, this was the topic for today. Hope all of you have understood the topic. Thank you and have a nice day.